Yo, what is up, good people, good humans? Alright, so what's the dealio with the BTC situation? So, from the last video, we talked about how we were potentially going to be going down. And we did. Which is super duper cool. But nobody cares because that happened and they want to know what's going on now. And right now, we're kind of pumping, right? We're definitely kind of pumping. And it looks to be like a descending wedge to me, right? And we had this charted as the C wave. So it's all just a minor or a minute move in a bigger pattern, right? So this is a pattern. This descending wedge is a pattern, as well as this ABC. That's kind of what would make up a C wave, would be like a descending wedge. Because after you have a C wave, most typically you'll have another impulse. And if it's another 5-wave impulse to the upside, well, then you would see a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. I'm going to draw that because that sounded probably a little bit confusing. Okay. Hold up. So maybe your C wave is there, right? There's definitely like this channel right here. It's kind of hard to see. I'm going to make it a different color. Okay. Teal is going to be the deal. Okay, so this teal wedge is most definitely something. You have a support here, and now you have one here, and you bounced. And here, you ran up as well. Okay, made an inverse head and shoulders where most people thought it would go higher, and then you reached your breaking point, and then you crapped out to form a descending wedge. It also was a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5-wave Elliott with an A, a B, and a C wave down. Okay, and then the green box was that crazy scalp that we tried to play, which we did. Back to the 382. We sold off because you're still in a downtrend, right? You're in this descending wedge. You're in this channel until you break it. Now, it looks like if you zoom in, you're poking out, right? You're poking back into this yellow box where you could chum and crap out and live for a long time, right, before making an impulse in either direction. But you are on a sliver of support, which you found, and I want to make that very clear right here. You definitely found some kind of support in this red box area, which is totally groovy. And it may be a thread, right? Because right here, you're getting rejected, and you could crap all the way down to this teal purple line where they meet. Breaking that would be tough, right? Don't go below 6K. But in the meantime, it looks like we might see recovery bounces, along these lines. Right now, you're falling back into this purple wedge that we were in for so long. I know this chart is confusing, and for those of you who have not been following along for a while, welcome. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm probably rambling to you. But we've had these charts for a minute, and for those of you who have been following along, you know exactly what I mean, right? But in the notion that we broke out of this purple wedge, and then I said, hey, we were going to have legs, right? But all that's in the past. Nobody cares. So just know that this is a heavy support, and we bounced off this purple trend line, which was a super large pattern for us for a very, very long time. Okay, but that's where we saw our original impulses, where we really never touched again. So when you get to this region, you start to get to that chop, right? Where there's not a lot of chop. It's just a lot of up and down. So that's why you're going to see these violent moves if you start to go below this red box area, right? And that's probably more around like here. So just something to be noticeable of, just something to be cautious of. As of right now, we need to break the white lines, okay? So I know it's a lot of lines, a lot of goofy stuff, but they all do mean something. And we're in the red box for support. We could go down one more time and then pop up, but I would like to see us break this box. If not, then I think our original targets of 85, 86, 87, somewhere around in there And we could come all the way back down to this, green line, which was where our entry target was at for our long. Okay? So those are just some things to look at just with candlestick analysis, just by drawing some trend lines, everything else in between. If you go to this chart, we'll make it a little bit different, and we'll talk about, it's this one. Nope. This one. Nope. Not that one. Why do I have so many? This one. All right. Okay, cool. So let's look at this one really quick. This one's got all the moving averages on it, so this one's a little bit more helpful and I guess insightful when making a decision in the market. As of right now, it does look like we are getting that bounce, but it could just be a crap bounce, kind of like a dead cat, right? Which we talked about in the last video. And we could get rejected here. This is going to be our critical point, right? And that's where we wick to. So, I mean, smaller time frames obviously look better. Great volume came in, so that's always a nice little indicator. Let's see. Where else are... Okay, cool. So we had this yellow line. That was definitely a break line. That was where we knew we would run up heavy going on the long side, and then coming back on the shorter side. You could extend this all the way out, and this is where we caught, right? We knew that was definitely a line, and then you have this red box, right? So we did hold here, which is probably why we're seeing a little bit of a recovery bounce, because technically it did hit our zero. But I would still like to maybe see this as a, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This would be an A. A B, so we'll know on the next one. I think on the next candle close, if we can get up here and get above. Yeah, I mean, we could go all the way to the 0.5, but I don't foresee it. We'll see what we're doing on the lower time frame. See, we broke below. This is our retest, right? This is going to determine whether we're bullish or bearish. If we can get above here, if the yellow line goes above the white line and we can try to run again, then we'll see a higher high. If not, then we're definitely going to that 85 region. Cool. I don't want to get too complicated with it. As you can see, too, we had those purple trend lines, which we talked about earlier. And if we can extend these out for the channel that we were talking about, we will see. We totally smashed through it here, retested, bounced again, and then fell through on this one. And now we're probably chasing the bottom. Just kind of makes sense, right? You're kind of chasing the bottom of the channel that you were previously in. And if you can hold that, you got your 200-day moving average creeping up on the daily, right? Which hopefully that would lead to a bounce to keep you in bullish territory, to not break the overall trend that has been bullish, for the better part of 6 months now. And that would be this teal line, right? You don't really want to go below the teal line. So you're getting to that point where you would think about starting to put in some longs there, okay? If one was to potentially take a shot. But right now it's kind of just catching this falling knife to see how far will we fall. Like, we have support here, correct? Like, we have heavy support here, okay? On this 50-day moving average. These wicks that keep going to the downside are saying we were trying to puncture, but they haven't actually done it yet. So we'll see how that goes. I still think they will puncture that, and we will see lower price action. But these are just my thoughts, right? There is an argument, because some people could look at that and say, hey, no, I think that this is showing rejection to the downside, and I think we're going to be bullish. So I'm going to go all in and bet my whole stack. Sorry, zombie. That was a shout out to you, my dude. I feel for you, brother. I'm talking to this guy last night. Very, very cool situation. Dude got wrecked, but high hopes for that fella. And yeah, so that's about it. I really think that we're still probably going to be just a slightly bearish. We might see this little bounce here, but I think it's no more than like a dead cat. I really think that this purple trend line, hopefully we can hold at this next support. And then I think if we can get a bounce from there, it would be pretty significant. All right. Anyways, these are just my thoughts. I will catch you guys next time. I appreciate the love. Make sure you hit that like, the bell, the sub. You know what to do, so you know when we do what we do. And I will catch you guys next time. I appreciate everything, and I will be in the Discord. Cheers.